Welcome, everyone. This is Israel with another Shabbat class. This is a beautiful Shabbat. How is everybody's Shabbat going?
Good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hallelujah. Beautiful day outside. It's gorgeous. Okay, I've opened up my screen. I want to make sure everyone can see the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
All right, good. Somebody has sent me. I'm glad Angela's having a wonderful Shabbat. It's wonderful. I'm happy to be here with you guys today, because we could be somewhere else. Like Sister Leah said, we're going to be praying for her, but some people didn't make it today. Some people didn't have it to be here. It wasn't in the cards for them to still be on the earth, but we're here today, and that's a blessing from the Most High that we're able to be here today. So we say shalom, shalom to everyone. The class that we're going to do today is going to be very, very interesting, because it still deals with the great deception, but it's from a different standpoint today. And I want, once we finish going through this, I want you to tell me what the deception could be once we're done. So I want to put this together, and I'm doing this very, very, very cautiously and very slowly, but we're still dealing with the great deception. And why are we talking about this again? Because we have to get prepared. The closer it comes to the time of the fulfillment of our senses being served, the more things the Most High is going to make prevalent to us, and we're going to be able to visually see a lot of things that we weren't able to see before. To all of you all that are pastors out there that have come aboard, we say shalom, shalom. We're glad to have you. We study this thing, so feel free. This is an open forum. If you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to do that. If you have a comment or anything like that, please feel free to do that. Everybody can't speak at once, so, kind of be courteous, because sometimes everybody has a comment at the same time, and then it's good, because feedback is always good, because the people are listening. So, it's amazing how the Most High is doing this. So let me cut on the slideshow, and then I'm going to open up my screen for you so you can see the board. All right, there we go. So you guys can see the board. Everybody see that?
Yes.
All right, the great deception. The nations allowed to play. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. The nations allowed to play. And you say, play? What do you mean, Aina? What are you talking about? The nations allowed to play. Let's get into it, and we're going to see today. Here we go. It says two opponents. In the whole scheme of this thing, there are two opponents. There's Yah, and there's Satan. There's no one else in the middle of this situation that we're in now other than these two opponents. Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Yes, everybody agrees to the point that it's two. All right, here we go. Two kingdoms. The first kingdom, there's the kingdom of Yah, and second, there's the kingdom of Satan. And we believe that there are two kingdoms. That's what we have. We have the kingdom of Yah, and we have the kingdom of Satan. Here we go. The two differences. One kingdom is a kingdom of light, and the other a kingdom of darkness. There's only two opponents, and we have to always remember that when we're going through our battles and when we're going through our trials and our tribulations, that there's only two opponents. All right, here we go. Their attributes. Yah is everlasting and has no beginning or end. The other one is eternal and has no end. And everybody said, well, wait a minute. Yeah, he has an end. No, he can't die. He has a sentence because he's eternal, but he cannot die. Somebody tell me why Satan can't die. Why is it that he has those attributes that he has no end? Anybody know? Nobody knows? Well, guess what? He was one of the heavenly beings, and death was not given unto the heavenly beings. When did death come in? When and where did the angel of death appear? He was on the earth, wasn't
he? Yep.
In the Garden of Eden.
Right.
So you have a being that has no end. He cannot end. He can be sentenced, but he doesn't have an end. All right, here we go. This is the major part of it today. The integrity of the game is everything. If I can share anything else with you of the things that I have learned, I want to share this with you today, that the integrity of the game is everything. They said, what do you mean by that? I don't understand what you mean by the integrity of the game is everything. Because if you have two opponents, then you have two opposing sides. And with two opposing sides, you have the players of each opposing side. And I've had the opportunity to watch from both ends of it. I've watched from the church, the battle between the two opposing sides in the church, supposedly, and I've watched in Israel the battle of the two opposing sides. Now, they are broken up into intricate pieces, but the battle is still there. So when I look at how this thing is carefully broken up and separated into pieces, it's a perfect battle between the two opposing sides. What do you mean by that? What I mean is, we have the Hebrew Israelites that were we have those brothers on the street corner, and when they first came out, they came out railing. They came out, and you all gonna get it, and you devils, and the white man is the devil, and the blah, 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 blah. And they were just going at it. Why? And I kept saying, why are they doing that? And it was because they were angry. And over the course of time, as I've watched it, they've toned down a lot. Why are they toning down? Because the Most High is getting them prepared for another level of the battle. And in order to get prepared for another level of the battle, you have to mature to understand how to participate as a player on his side. Is that making sense?
Yep, that's right.
So you got to understand that no matter what we think, because I can give my opinion all the time, and I'm full of stuff. I can come up with all kinds of stuff to talk about. It doesn't matter what I think about any of this. It is a matter of what God tells us to do according to the Word. So how do we understand what integrity is? We have to go into the Word. We have to be able to pull situations out of the Word and say, how did they respond to this? What was the reaction of the response? And what is it that I need to learn from this? Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to change your character right away, because it's not going to happen. There are going to be some things that you're going to endure that's going to give you the integrity that you need in order to be able to participate. Some of it's going to be painful. Some of it is going to become painfully apparent. Some of it is going to be trials and tribulations. But I promise you, if you hang in there, and you do exactly what the Most High tells you to do, you'll come out on the winning end of this thing and be able to participate as one of his major players. And in my research, I found that the Most High is getting his people prepared to be major players, because this game is about to change significantly. Okay, so let's go into what's going on. I'm going to deal with Yah's kingdom first so that we understand, what we have that has become available to us. When I say above and below, because Yah has a kingdom above and below. He has a whole separate kingdom that is up in another dimension that we cannot see. And then he has a whole other kingdom that is on the earth that is both heavenly and human. So I want to get into that today so that we understand. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. All right, here we go. The heavenly kingdom. The Old Testament shows Yah presiding over a large assembly of beings. These assemblies include Yah's personal divine council that convenes upon his request. All right, here we go. Their council. Yah has the divine council where they speak with him on matters of this world. Now, there are several people out there of the Caucasian nation that have written books on this. But as we were coming into Christianity and we were beginning to study this thing in the Old Testament, we came upon this years ago. That we have to understand that Yah's kingdom is so detailed that not only is he reigning, but he has a council of gods that reign with him. So when you start breaking down the components of the kingdom, you have the gods, you have the angels, you have all kinds of ministering spirits, which we're going to get into today, and then you have the watchers. So what I wanted to do is give you insight on how this council works together, because in Christianity we was taught that Yah almost rules by himself other than with the angels. Anybody disagree? No? Because you guys really are not talking today. He doesn't rule he doesn't rule alone. There are people that are counseling that he counsels with, that he gives information to in the heavenlies. So why is that important? We're going to get to that in just a moment. I'm getting ready to do something that's going to encourage some people. So he says their counsel. Yah has the divine counsel where they speak with him on matters of this world. The mighty sons in the sky. The heavenly council and the assembly of spiritual beings in heaven. The mighty ones. It says Yah rules over spirit beings of various ranks and powers who are sometimes called the gods or the mighty ones. Indeed, there are many gods spoken of among the nations. Anybody have any questions or concerns about that? Because remember, when we were talking last week, we were talking about how the Most High separated the kingdoms into how many nations?
70.
70 nations. I only hear one lady talking today. 70 nations. And out of that 70 nations, how many languages were there?
There were 70.
70 languages. And if there were 70 languages and 70 nations, how many gods were put over the 70 nations and the 70 languages?
70 gods.
There were 70. Now, that's just, a lot of people are like, well, is that all he had? No way that was all he had. So let's get into, what I want to do is take a moment and break down proof that there are gods that are over those nations. Now, where are we going to do that at? We're going to go into the book of Daniel. All right, an example of that. In the book of Daniel, in chapter 10, Daniel is in a period of mourning because of a great war that is coming. It says a 21-day fast. It says he fasted for 21 days and then sees a vision of what I presume to be an angel. Nobody knows what this is, but watch what he says, why he was late. Before the angel explains what will happen to Daniel's people, the angel explains why he is late in meeting him. Now, who is Daniel's people?
The Israelites.
The children of Israel. This is us. This is our history. This is our kingdom. This is what comes to us once we are in right standing with the Most High Yah. And then, so let me ask this question. Why is this important now? Why do you think it's important to know this stuff right now?
Because that's who he's going to be dealing with in this upcoming future.
Absolutely. This is what we're going to experience once the curse is over. Here we go. Let's go into what happened. So before the angel could explain or give a revelation as to what what he saw, he explained to him why he was late. That's what he said. This is Daniel chapter 10. This is verse 5. It says, then man clothed in linen. He said, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. The voice of a multitude. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. Who do you think that was?
Sound like Yeshua.
Oh, that's what I thought too. I said, that really sounds like the Messiah. That's what I thought. But then let's go a little further. Let's see what it says. It says, only for Daniel to see. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so they fled to hide themselves. So these men, wherever they went, when they got scared and they ran off, even though they didn't see nothing, he was powerless. Verse 8. We're in Daniel chapter 10, verse 8. Wherefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. I passed out. Yet I heard the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep, on my face toward the ground. Now this guy got to have some serious power for him to be able to speak, and this man loses himself, and then he just passes out and goes into a sleep. Watch. He set me up, and behold, a hand touched me and set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. He said, and verse 11, and he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly loved and understood, the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright. Watch what he said. He said, for unto thee am I now sent, and when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. I bet he did. And I kept saying, why don't you never send no angels to no women? And then I thought about it. I said, I don't even know if I can handle that. If it took the strength out of a man to the point where he wasn't able to even focus, I don't think women have the strength to be able to deal with that. I could be wrong, but we kind of scare pretty easily. What you guys think?
I don't think we can care about that.
I think we can. You said you think we can. I think we can.
I think we can. Didn't he send an angel to, was it Mary?
Yeah, he sent quite a few angels. Yeah, he sent them. He sent them, but I mean, I'm just saying.
I think we can handle it.
Okay, I hope so. I hope you got. I got confidence too. Let me see. The first day. Now watch what he said. Then he said unto me, fear not, Daniel. He said, for from the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy Elohim, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. That's some power, ain't it? Yeah. He said, the first day you prayed, when you set your mind to go on that fast so that you could get the understanding of what it was you saw, the Most High heard you. I'm come for thy word. Yes, sir, Brother Donion.
Now, you mentioned why the Almighty don't send no angels to women. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible that the uncleanness of a woman that might be upon her? At any given time, they have women are unclean at all different times.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the Almighty, you would think that he would know that. I would think.
But we got to understand now, we talk about being unto the Almighty, and we supposed to be like that. That's the main thing, and I don't know what's true and what's not. Just saying.
That's a possibility. That's a very strong possibility and a very good point. That is a very good point. Because they've had experiences where he did send them, but there are way more examples where he has sent them to men.
Right. And we're not unclean all the time.
Right.
Exactly.
I didn't say that. I said that women unclean and different. Every woman don't get unclean on the same day.
Right. That's true. All right, well, guess what? Here we go. The prince of the other nations. Now, watch what he says, verse 13. He said, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. What does that mean? Who is the prince of the kingdom of Persia?
Now, is that an idiom, or is that one of the rebellious angels, or is that Hasatan himself?
No, well, you know what? He said he withstood him. Not only was he a god, he's not an angel now. He's a higher ranking than an angel. And he is the God over a specific kingdom that they named specifically.
I have always been taught.
Principalities and rulers that have dominion in certain places.
Exactly. But since you were taught that this was Satan himself because of Persia.
Or the principalities that's over a certain area.
Well, that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. And when you talk about principalities and princes, those are powers. Those are gods that are over certain areas and over territories. Yes, ma'am, they are the same thing. That solidifies the 70 nations with the 70 gods over them. And watch what it says. It says, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. What's that? The 21 days that Daniel was praying. He said, but lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Well, that's what he said. He said, be strong. Verse 19, and he said, oh man, someone please put your phone on mute. O man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee, be strong. Yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened. And he said, let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Watch what he said. He says, verse number 20, fighting among the princes. Then he said, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? He said, and now I will return to do what? Fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come. These are all governing nations that have gods over them. Okay. Watch what it says. This is the last of the scripture. He said, but I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So we know that over the nations, and I'm setting the precedent so we can understand what's about to go on, because over the nations, there are gods over the nations that are in rebellion against the Most High and the princes that are coming from the Most High's kingdom. And they are against Israel. Okay, that's why we were saying the other day when we got off those boats and the Most High had turned his back on us, we were public enemy number one. Because guess whose hands we fell into? We fell into the hands of those nations. Those same nations that he disowned. And guess what they did? They did everything and anything to us that they felt like that they were big enough to do. Any questions? All right, let's keep going because I got quite a bit. Scripture proof. Psalms 89, 5 through 8. Watch what it says. It says, and the heavens shall praise thy wonders, O Lord, thy faithfulness also in the congregation of the saints. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm getting ready to give you this version and the NIV version. Watch what it says in the NIV. It says, the heavens praise your wonders, Yah, your faithfulness too, in the assembly of the holy ones. Now, this is watch what it says. Verse 6. among the sons of Yah. For who in the heaven can be compared unto the Most High? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto the Most High? Watch what it says in the NIV version. For who in the skies above can compare to the Most High? Who is like unto the Most High among the heavenly beings? So we're talking about this is a whole version, this is a whole kingdom that we have up there that are working on his behalf. And guess who they're working for? Israel.
Right. Okay.
They're working for us. This is why we have to instill in everybody how important we are. I don't think we realize how important we really are on this earth. Because everything that he does is for us. Either he's punishing us, or he's rewarding us, or he's sending someone to give us a word that's going to happen to us, or he's fighting for us. Watch. Here we go. The council of spirits. It says in verse 7, there's a council of these spirit beings that are active with Yah. They are called the assembly of the saints. Watch. Verse 7, fear in the assembly. Yah is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. Watch. What it says in the NIV version, in the council of the Holy One, Yah is greatly feared, for he is more awesome than all who surround him. Watch this. Elohim of hosts. O Yah, Elohim of hosts, who is a strong most high like unto thee, or to thy faithfulness round about thee. Watch what it says. Who is like you, O Yah Elohim Almighty? You, Most High, are mighty, and your faithfulness surrounds you. So what I'm trying to say is that around the throne, there's another group of people. I want somebody to keep a list of this while we're talking. So we got the gods, and then we have who? We got the council of the holy ones, or they're called what? The assembly of the saints. Now, the church would believe that that's them.
Right.
But guess what? There's nobody. We're talking about in the assembly of God. There is none in his presence right now. These are all beings that are in the kingdom. Because nobody has died and gone to the kingdom. So who might these be?
There's a plug right there. You want me to read that?
Somebody, if you can put your phone on mute, we'd appreciate it. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, here we go right here. The expected appearance. Now, one thing that everybody doesn't know, for you all who don't know, the angels go before the Most High on a daily basis and they report. And how do we know that? We know that through the book of Job. Job chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. This is what it says, the expected appearance. Now, there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before the Most High, and Satan came also among them. Watch. The reports are given. The holy angels continually report to Yah after completing assignments in the heavens and on the earth. Now, let me ask you a question. With all of the stuff that we have had that has happened to us, all of the murders and the killings and the police getting off and all the stuff, do you not think the angels are giving reports?
Yes. Yes.
That's why we continually tell the people that are mourning, the people that are angry, the people who want retaliation, we continually tell the people to stand down, because this is something that is going on daily. Right. And they're giving reports. Like I told you before, some of them are sitting in the courtroom as businessmen, some of them in there as bums. Some of them are just sitting there as just everyday people, and guess what? They keep it notes. And at the time, when the time goes to them, time for them to go back to the kingdom, they're going back to the kingdom and they're giving their report. So they know the heart. They know the heart of the judge. They know the heart of the jury. They know the heart of the news commentators. They know the hearts of everybody. And all of these people, these same people that I just mentioned to you, these people go to church every day. I mean, go to church at least weekly.
Mhm.
But it's not going to matter, is it?
No.
Not going to matter at all. Because this is the activity that goes on in our kingdom that the Most High has, and it's catered to who? To Israel. All of this is catered to us. This is the kingdom that we have access to. Watch what it says. It's the time to blend in. Satan uses the opportunity when the holy angels are presenting themselves before Yah to present himself also. This is the method Satan uses to go before our Father that's in heaven.
Right.
Watch. Their conversation. And the Most High said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, From going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. Now, see, the biggest thing with this is that people think that the Most High and Satan don't speak to each other, that there is a hatred or a rift between them. And this clearly says that there's not. Two opponents. Two separate opponents, two separate kingdoms. It's almost like he said, it's almost like you have a child and the child tells the father, I'm going to do it better than you. And the father looks back and he laughs and said, have at it. And when all the kids come to the dinner table, he slides in the house with everybody else. And he sits down at the table with everybody else. And the father looks up at the son with his eyebrow raised and say, how's it going? You know, is it how's that working for you? You know what I mean? Because I created it all. I created you. So I know what's in you. I know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. I know what powers you have and what you don't have. And most of all, I made the earth and the heavens that you're yet dwelling in trying to claim to be yours. How's that working for you? All right. Two opponents, two different opponents, two different sides. And most of the time, the fathers or the mothers will look at the children and say, keep on trying, you're going to get it one day. And you laughing at them because you know that the ultimate end is you'll never be able to be me. Right. Watch, here we go. The method to accuse. It is the method that Satan uses to accuse Israel in the Old Testament and in the New Testament and continues to use even today. There's another opportunity where they come. So this, I'm showing you that they come more than once. It says in Job chapter 2, verse 1 and 2, again there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before the Most High, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Most High. Same question. Watch what he did the same thing. He said, Yah inquires of Satan, and the Most High said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? He said, where you been? And Satan answered the Most High and said, going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. What he was doing, but he has, and what does that tell you? He has access to both places, don't he? Mm-hmm. He can go up into both places for now, doesn't he? Right. Watch, here we go. Now we're going to deal with the false prophets because we're getting into the meat of the story now. I'm going to share some with you. So we know that we have that the angels present themselves before the Most High. We have the gods over the nations. We have the council of the divine council that's around the Most High continuously, you know, and then we have Satan who also is allowed to come. And then we have the false prophets. We're getting ready to deal with the false prophets who believe that they hear from the Most High, but they don't. Watch. Jeremiah chapter 23, 16 through 19. It says the false prophets, thus saith the Most High of hosts, hearken not unto the word of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart and not out of the mouth of the Most High. They lie. They say still unto them that despise me, the Most High has said, you shall have peace. And they say unto everyone that walketh after the imagination of their own heart, no evil shall come upon you. Now this is Jeremiah talking to the king because they are about to go into captivity. And these prophets are saying things that the Most High has not said at all whatsoever. He said, watch what he said. He said, stood in the council. For who has stood in the counsel of the Most High and have perceived and heard his voice? Who has marked his word and heard it? Watch in fury. Watch what he said. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. Watch. In the latter days, the anger of the Most High shall not return until he has executed, till he has performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days you shall consider it perfectly. Any questions at all whatsoever? No. All right, watch. Here we go. Now we're getting ready to get into the council. And this is one of the favorite incidences, and this is what got me on this path. 1 Kings chapter 22. It says Yah's counsel. Micaiah. Watch what Micaiah says. Micaiah says, therefore, hear the word of the Most High. I saw Yah sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. So that means he's not by himself there, isn't it? He's not alone. Watch. Destination predetermined. Now, what is this about? This is a story about Ahab and oh my goodness, King Ahab and who is the other king? It slipped my mind. It'll come back. They were about to go up to fight against Ramoth Gilead, and the king Ahab asked, "Is there a prophet around who can give me some information as to whether or not we're going to prevail or not?" What the kings did was they used the prophet to go before the Most High to see what moves they should make and what they shouldn't make. Watch what it says. Micaiah just said, this is what he said. And the Most High said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this matter, and another said on that matter. Watch. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Most High and said, I will persuade him. How will you deceive him? And the Most High said unto him, wherewith? He said, how are you going to do it? And he said, I will go forth and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all of his prophets. Now somebody explain to me, how in the world is that possible? Y'all don't do no stuff like that, does he? Imagine now, he's got a council. This is what Micaiah said. He said, I've seen him sitting on his throne. He had the host of heaven. Now imagine this in your mind. He had the host of heaven on the right hand of the throne and on the left hand of the throne. And he said, who shall deceive Ahab that he shall go up and die at Ramoth Gilead? And a spirit stepped forth. Remember we talked about the spirits, the assemblies of the saints and the spirits. A spirit stepped forth and said, I will. And he said, how you going to trick him? He said, I will go forth as a lying spirit in the mouth of all the prophets. Didn't we just talk about the false prophets earlier? Right. All of this stuff is a setup. We've got to understand that everybody has a part to play. And no matter what you think it is, you've got to pray that you got to keep your emotions pure. You've got to keep your intentions pure. And everything that you're doing for the Most High has to remain pure. Because the things that we do and our actions determine our outcome. And the Most High used one of the spirits in his council to do just what he said he was going to do. Watch. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail. He said, go forth and do it. So y'all gave him the permission to go into the mouth of the prophets and lie to the king.
Okay.
Somebody said, Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's just that I guess I
that's
didn't
scary.
think that, right. It is. It's scary. It's.
Why is it scary?
Because you wonder if that could happen to you. I mean, who are you? And you're not a prophet. You know, for whatever purpose that something needs to be served or done, and then if the lying spirit is put on you or in you, and then that happens, then are you sinning and are you held accountable for something? I don't even know how to articulate the worry. You know what I mean?
I do. And you know what the biggest thing is because of the way we have been taught that Yah operates. See, a lot of people, because Christianity spreads this story about, he's a God of love, and he would never do things like that, and he's perfect, and he is. He's all those things. He has all those attributes, but also in the kingdom. Now, we ain't talking about on the earth. We're talking about in the kingdom. These are the things that happen to make sure that his word it comes forth and it does not fall to the ground. These are these are the components that work together to make sure that no matter what, his word is not going to come back void. Watch. Now watch what he says, out of their own mouth. Now, therefore, behold, the Most High put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Most High has spoken evil concerning thee. Now, Micaiah, the prophet, is giving them this information because the Most High has opened up his eyes to be able to see in the dimension so that he could see how it operates. This is our kingdom operating on our behalf because we are his chosen people. And the things that are going on in these stories is how he governed us and how he used the heavenly kingdom to govern his own people that he chose to be upon this earth. And the prophets are the ones who he allows to see, whether it's through dreams or open visions, where they're able to. Micaiah is telling him this. This is how this goes. Watch what it says, the detainment. The king of Israel said, take Micaiah and carry him back unto Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joaz, the king's son. Watch. He said, the imprisonment, and they said, thus saith the king, put this fellow in the prison and feed him with bread of affliction and with water of affliction until I come in peace. The prophecy is sure. Watch what Micaiah says. And Micaiah said, if thou return at all in peace, the Most High has not spoken by me. And he said, hearken, O people, every one of you. He said, if you come back, I'm a lie. He said that you're not going to come back. And basically, King Ahab had done evil in the eyes of the Lord, and it was time for him to die. All right. And he was fighting with Jehoshaphat. That's the other king. It was him and Jehoshaphat fighting together. And he said, is there not a prophet around here who can assure us that we doing the right thing, that we gonna do, that we supposed to fight? And Jehoshaphat said, it's one, but every time I call him, every time he come, he don't never have nothing good to say. So the prophets are very important in how the kingdom operates. And the prophets will once again do what they are supposed to do. But guess what? The integrity of the game is everything. And this is why we have to repent and get ourselves together mentally so that we'll be able to walk in integrity and do and say just what the Most High says. Because not only are we helping to steer our nation that's woke, we got to be ready to steer those that are not woke yet. And guess what? We're going to come up against the church. And they already got their prophets in place. And we're going to have to be able to say, thus saith the Most High Yah. This is how it has to be. And that's what you're going to do. You get ready to tear down a whole lot of hierarchy that they have going on in there, because what you're going to say is true, and not that they're going to accept it. And we may come up against them before the curse is over. We don't know. But you got to be able to have enough integrity to be able to say only what he says, no more, no less. Because that's when the Most High operates and he opens up this kingdom to us to operate the way that he does, we have to be ready to be able to operate the way he wants us to. And Micaiah was in good standing, so he opened it up for him to see. So it can be kind of scary, but it's only scary when you don't know. And as long as you're walking upright before the Most High, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Now, remind you, they had prophets that were standing around that prophesied to them a lie, just like the Spirit said. Right. Those prophets told them, go on up, you're going to be all right, you're coming back. Go on up. We see you coming back, you're going to prevail. And that's when the king said, is there one that's going to tell us the truth? And he said, well, there is one, but he never speaks anything good. He always got something negative to say when it comes to me. And when Micaiah came on the scene, that's what the prophecy was. He told him. He told him about the council. And guess what? When he told him, guess what the other prophets did? They slapped him in the face. And like you said, am I in trouble because I was the one that just hope that you're not the one that he uses to tell the use the other on the other end. All right, here we go. Created to worship him. God creates angels to be around his throne, to worship and praise him, and to carry out his assignments in the heavens and earth. Watch. Isaiah's security clearance. Yah opens the dimension of the heavens up to Isaiah, who saw Yah in his temple, guarded by the Sephirim, in an open court to his divine counsel. So there's a courtroom going on, and everybody says, well, why come he just can't wipe this game out and start all over again? Why do we have to go through all this? I hear this all the time. Well, why come he just can't just take us straight to the wilderness? Because they're watching. Everybody is watching. Two opposing sides. He wrote the end from the beginning. He can't just erase it and start all over again, because these beings are watching how he conducts himself. And guess what? The integrity of the game is everything. And he's going to follow his word, because he said his word would not come back void, didn't he? Right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 6. Watch. He said, any volunteers? Yah is appealing to those who receive their assignment from him and his desire to help Israel to volunteer among the assemblies of the spirits. Watch what happens. Isaiah offered himself. Isaiah was allowed to sit in on the council, truly out of his element. He offered himself to bring the message to Israel. Watch what it says. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1 through 8. It says, this is what Isaiah saw. He said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Most High sitting upon his throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Cherubim stood above. Above it stood the cherubim. Each one had 6 wings. With train, he covered his face, and with twain, which is 2, he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. Holy, holy, holy. One cried unto another and said, holy, holy, holy is the Most High of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Post to the door. Now, this is what shook me, because I had no idea. It said, and the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. What do you think that means? I don't know. You're the only one that's talking today, sis. Everybody else is just quiet. I mean, everybody is quiet.
I'm thinking so hard, I can't think straight.
Hold on, watch. Let you think about that. He said, the king, then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Most High of hosts. That's what he said. The altar. Now, this is what got me, the altar. Now, wait now. There's a room where they're all sitting, and there's angels that are above the throne. And they have 2 wings that cover their face, and they have 2 wings that cover their feet, and they have 2 wings that fly, and they're above the altar. Above the throne. Now watch. He says, watch what happens in the altar. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongue from off the altar. I said, now what is there an altar for? And evidently the coal had to be hot if he had to use tongues to pick him up. Mm-hmm. This is all in the kingdom. This is what Isaiah saw. Watch. He said, verse 7, thy sins are purged. He laid it upon my mouth and said, lo, this has touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Then he said, who will go? Also I heard the voice of the Most High saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Yeah, Isaiah is in the assembly of the gods. He's in the assembly of the angels. He's in the assembly of the holy ones. He's in the assembly of the saints. He's in the midst of the divine council. And he says, and then I said, here I am, send me. Anybody have any questions? I hope y'all not bored to death and scared. I don't mean to scare you. I'm just trying to share with you that the reason why a lot of things are happening and the reason why I hope this is answering a lot of questions for you when it comes to how our kingdom operates, because I've heard so many people, especially pastors, preach about the kingdom, and it's like, tell the people what's really going on in the kingdom. Right. Tell them that there is participation in the kingdom, that there is order there, that there is a sign that's given there, that there are gods there that rule among, Yah rules among the gods, that there's a council there. And some people say, Diana, you crazy. Y'all don't need no counsel. What do you need a counsel for? He has one. He's not alone. He's not a purple smoke that's floating around in the sky like they want to tell us in Christianity, and that everything that needs to be done, he does it himself, or he has a few angels working with him. There is millions and billions of angels that are working on his behalf. I got a question. Yes, ma'am, because you're the only one talking today. I'm so glad you called me. Because I think I done scared the rest of the people like you. Well, go ahead, ma'am. What's the question?
Do you think that maybe they're not telling the people, the pastors not telling the people that? Because if you're not seeing this the way, it's written here, the only kingdom you know of is the kingdoms that you see here on earth. And you see the palaces, you see the gold. I was able to travel to Dubai, and you see all of that. You see all of the things that they have, and you're looking at that, and I want to be a part of that. I want to have that. I want to have that. And if they're not telling the people what we see here in the kingdom that's here, of course they're going to go for what the world has, because they're going to look at that and think that's great. But when you see the vast kingdom that we have here, it's no comparison.
No comparison. But guess what? It's only because you're Israel that you feel that way. And let me say that. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Because there are some people in the other nations who truly believe that they love the Most High. You know, that's why religion has grown in the capacity that it has grown in. That people believe that what they have been taught is the extent of who He is. You know, and they really have a sincere love for the Most High Yah. But when you understand who you are and whose you are, you begin to understand how powerful this kingdom is, and that we have access to this kingdom on a small measure right now. And the nations of the earth that have the kingdoms that they have built up only are there because we are in the position that we're in now.
Right.
Because if you can say that, imagine what Solomon's kingdom was like.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? They said there's never been a kingdom like his.
Right.
Never. Because the God that runs this, what I'm telling you right here, right now, was very much active with the people that He chose, and Solomon was the king. So can you imagine what the temple was like?
Mm. Wow.
The gold that was in it, the ivory that they had, the wood that they cut down, all of it was perfect, and it was to Yah's specifications. I didn't even go where I wanted to go because I wanted to break down the similarities between the tent tabernacle and the tabernacle that's in the kingdom. Because it was only because the Most High allowed Solomon to build that temple that there's one in the first place, because the tent tabernacle was the beginning of it all. That's when the Most High laid the blueprints and gave it to Moshe. He said, do this just like I tell you to do this, because this is a duplicate.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I was reading that just today. This morning, I was reading that, and the tabernacle that was in the wilderness, and it goes back to this angel that took up this coal from the altar. That's why the altar is there. Everything that was in the tabernacle, everything that was in that tabernacle in the wilderness was a exact replica of the things that is in heaven. So it has to be a tabernacle or a I'll say kingdom, but a tabernacle of sort with all of that furniture. The same thing is in heaven. The exact same thing.
Absolutely. And if the tabernacle is in heaven or in the kingdom where Yah is, and it's a direct duplicate, then the people that tend to the tabernacle have to be there as well. The priesthood is duplicated. Everything. He duplicated everything from the garments to the priesthood to all of the stuff that was, and all of it's been duplicated.
Okay, since you said that and you want somebody to talk, you know I'll talk. My question is, see, I'm blown away by these prophets, but I'm going back to that. If everything is duplicated, which I believe that tabernacle temple is in heaven, I really believe that because I read it. Okay, but who would be the keepers of the, let's say, the table of showbread, the menorah, all of the furniture, you know, who would be those, I want to say people, but who would be those beings that would be tending to those things? Who would be that? Who? Would it be the angel?
And let me say this, and I'm going to say this, and this is the $1 million answer. I don't know. Somebody has to, though. If he duplicated it, somebody has to tend to it. But the biggest question is the sin sacrifice. Because in order for there to be a tabernacle, and if it was duplicated the same way, somebody sinned up there, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did. Somebody broke the law.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
Was it Lucifer?
I'm just saying. Somebody, I would say that it was him. I would say he was the one on side of it. But there was a great battle there in the kingdom.
But he's not being atoned for. There's no atonement made for him.
No, there's not.
So
there's no atonement for him.
It's interesting.
True. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very much so.
I never thought of it like that.
The blueprint, when the Most High came down to Mount Sinai and spoke with Moshe, he gave him the blueprint. He said, do it exactly the way I tell you to do it.
Exactly.
But the fact that the counsel goes on, and that this is continual, and that the Most High allows the interaction between the two places, between the two dimensions, is something that we deal with on a regular basis that we don't even know. Because what did he say? He said, be careful whom you may entertain, because they may be angels unaware. They're on assignment. And the biggest thing that I can tell Israel and the people that are of the nation, of our nation, you know, I tell them all the time, stand down. This is not the time for retaliation. This is not the time for anger. This is not the time for anything. This is the time to repent, because the Most High God, he has this. Believe me when I tell you he has it. Not only for them, but for us too. So it's time for us to clean up, because it all starts with us.
Right.
And you know, I have always heard, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have always heard in my Christian walk or in my whatever, but that there were different angels over different territories. I've heard that. I've been taught that, and that now I don't know if this part is true or not, but it probably is. That Michael is assigned over Israel.
Yes, ma'am. You got that part right. And I'm getting ready to
I learned that from Zionists. I did.
Yes,
I learned that from Zionists.
Michael is over Israel.
Michael is over it. He's the one that's the protector of Israel.
Yes, ma'am. You never lied about that. And he is the chief prince of them all. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So he put his head man over us. And do you think we have anything to worry about? I mean, really?
Right.
Well, we don't know who we are.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as we begin to wake up and as those that are awake begin to tell our people, you don't have nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Or even our young people, we can get to these knuckleheads and tell them, stand down. This is not, you want to see some show enough go on, back up and let the Most High do what he do. But then again, you have to walk upright too. Because you can't go out there doing everything you think you're big enough to do under the sun and think he's going to protect you. Even though he has protected some of us when we was doing some stuff we didn't have no business doing.
Right.
Because we all have. All of us have done it.
Exactly.
And you look back on your life and say, whoa, that could have been me.
Yes.
He has. He's done it. All right, check this out. Watch. Isaiah offered himself. Isaiah was allowed to sit in on the council. Truly out of his elements, he offered himself to bring the message to Israel. All right, now this is the juicy part. This is the good part right here. This I want to show you. He said when the decree is ordered, show you how it operated. The decree was ordered. King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, when he thought that just because Yah used him to punish the nation of Yehudah, that he was above the Most High. He experienced the vision, and Daniel interpreted the dream. Watch what happened. The dream revealed. So Yah showed the final decree in the form of a dream to Nebuchadnezzar in a way that he could understand, letting him know that Yah controls the heaven and the earth and they that dwell therein. All right, now this is Daniel chapter 4. This is so very important. I'm going to show you something about Michael in just a minute. The king. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. So Nebuchadnezzar had a one-world government. Babylon had taken control over the whole earth. Watch what he did. Watch. It says the arrogant statement. He said, I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high Yah have wrought toward me. Watch. False accolades. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Watch. When I was chilling, he was chilling at home. It said, I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. Watch. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed, the vision of my head troubled me. He woke up in a panic because the Most High gave him a dream. Watch what it say. This is the second interpretation Daniel has asked to do. Watch. He said, therefore I made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they may make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Watch. No one had the answer. Then came in the magicians and the astrologers and the Chaldeans and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. They called Daniel, but at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy Elohim. And before him I told the dream, saying, watch what he said. He said, great and tall. He said, and there the vision of my head and my bed, I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. Watch it. Here we go. It says, verse 11, the tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached into heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. Watch. It says meat, fruit, meat, and shadow. He said the leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the broth thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. Watch. He said, I saw in the vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, and a holy one came down from heaven. Watcher. He said, and pronounced judgment. He cried aloud and said, hew down the tree, cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit, lest the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from its branches. That's what he said. The sentence of insanity. He said, nevertheless, leave the stump of his root in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heaven, and let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. He said a 7-year sentence. He said, let his heart be changed from man, and let a beast heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. So whatever this sentence was, he was going to be in this sentence for 7 years. 7 years. Watch this verse. This is very important. Watch what he said. He said, decree of the watcher. Watch what it says. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the Holy One. They're the gods. So the decree came from the watchers. I'm showing you the order now. And the demand came from the Holy Ones, the gods. To do for what? To the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So what that means, somebody had a court. They had a court session, didn't they? And a decree came down. The God sent the decree down. The God sent the demand down, and the watchers performed the decree, and they went in on Nebuchadnezzar because of his arrogance and his pride. Think it not strange that we're in the time that we're in, such as today. They're watching. I keep telling you all the time, they are watching. I'm not just saying that just to make somebody feel. They are watching. And guess what? They keeping notes. They keeping notes, and they taking names. This is how it operates. Read it again, just for those that are in the listening audience. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the Holy One. Somebody got some authority up there, don't they? Somebody able to make some decisions up there, aren't they? Somebody got a council up there, don't they?
What's the difference in the watchers and the holy ones?
Guess what? Simple. The watchers watch, and they give the word. And the demand, the gods are the ones who send the order. And the watchers give the word, and I believe the angels follow up with it. The order is very organized. It's very detailed. Nobody gets away. Nobody gets away. And nobody gets by because they're paying attention. The scripture said, every idle word shall be judged.
That's right.
Nobody gets away. That's why I keep telling everybody, you don't have to worry about it. Because if the Most High said it, we going home. Nobody's going to stop that. The word just has not come down yet to go get them. But if once the Most High sends the word, go get them. Guess who coming to get us? Michael. Michael coming to get us. He's the head honcho of them all. He's going to come and make sure that Israel is in the place of safety. And he has a whole army at his disposal. Watch. Get to that. He said, watch with verse 18. Daniel chapter 4, verse 18. He said, I have seen this dream. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. But thou, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof. For as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. That's what he said. Daniel was upset. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. I guess he said, you know what, you threw. I can only imagine, see Daniel's face like, you know, when the word come down like that, it's over. I mean, for real. It's like, I don't even want to tell you. Watch what he say. He said, don't be worried. The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Daniel probably raised his eyebrow up and looked at him like, man, you are through. You know it's over. Watch what he said. He said, it's over. Belteshazzar answered him and said, my Lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemy. Watch what he said. Verse 20. Now, we skip down to verse 24 because I didn't want to get into all that, but he said, this is the interpretation. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 24. He said, this is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my Lord the king. Watch. He said, they shall drive thee, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. And they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. And these people got the nerve to be worried about Donald Trump.